think there was always going to come a point in this transition season where you started to question things and the squad wasn't where you probably wanted it to be, and you're up against some really tough fixtures and you've tried to get through those unsuccessfully, and your methods and your philosophy and your future planning is questioned. And I think that's the point now where we are. Norwich City have just lost 2-0 away to Leeds United. Before that, Norwich City lost 2-0 away to Sheffield United. And before that, Norwich City lost convincingly to Brighton in the FA Cup. In the last 3 competitive fixtures, Norwich City have mustered 1 shot on target. In the last 2 competitive league fixtures, Norwich City have mustered up 0 shots on target. This is a difficult period for Norwich City. We are in a period at the moment where we've faced 2 incredibly tough away games and, to be honest, barely laid a glove on the opposition. Let's talk about tonight against Leeds United. It was never going to be easy. Leeds are exceptional at Ellen Road. They should go up automatically this season. We know the dominance and the quality that Daniel Farke as a head coach possesses at this level. This was never going to be a game that we highlighted on our fixture list and went, yeah, that's a win. It felt like the fixture list gods were against us this week. Sheffield United the same, very solid at home. I think what will concern some people, coupled with a few different factors. Factor number 1 is that seemingly Norwich aren't going as strong in the January transfer window as some may have thought. And I must say that's surprised me a little bit. We'll get onto the context around that later on in the video. And number 2, I wouldn't say the passiveness, but the lack of attacking bite in these 2 performances against Sheffield United and Leeds United. The fact that we've gone to both of those places and not had a shot on target is incredibly disappointing. As the biggest Johannes Hoftorp fan, as the biggest supporter of this new era at Norwich City, I would be foolish to come on this video and say that that was an acceptable level of performance. The most confusing thing for me is actually for 70 minutes of the game against Leeds tonight, I thought Norwich looked okay. I thought they knocked the ball about well. They didn't really create chances, but they had a clear philosophy and actually implemented that passing football out from the back quite nicely. I thought the quality on the ball was there, but 2 sloppy errors. The first goal comes within the first minute. Somehow Crescene, Doyle, Duffy and Stacey and Gunn all make mistakes. Gunn's nowhere to be seen in goal. Crescene's miles out of position. Doyle loses James. Stacey's the wrong side of Solomon, who scores. So look, we know Leeds United from winning positions at Ellen Road are very hard to beat. You suddenly create a mountain for yourself when you're behind within 40 seconds. I thought Norwich responded well. They, from that point up until the end of the first half, we had a lot of the ball. We looked comfortable in possession. And I know everyone's screaming at me going, well, Jack, we didn't create any chances. I get that. I think it's worth looking at the lineup that we went with. We are without so many players again. It feels like we are somehow in an injury crisis yet again. We're playing Kellen Fisher, who is a 20-year-old right back in central midfield. We're playing Oscar Schwartau, who's an 18-year-old right winger, as our number 9. We're playing Onel Hernandez, who, bless him, hasn't exactly converted in terms of numbers over the past couple of years. If you love him, if you hate him, unfortunately the stats don't lie, and he's not contributed enough over the past few seasons for Norwich City. Dobbin on the left wing, although he looked bright tonight, is a 22-year-old left winger who's hardly played football this season. This is in some parts an inexperienced squad. I think Dobbin, Schwartau, Hernandez, Fisher, probably Crescene, all of those don't start in a fully fit team. And look, there are certain things you can control, the likes of Borja Sainz getting suspended. That's just stupidity. There are certain things you can't control. Norwich could have put in a better attacking performance tonight. I'm not getting away from that, but we have to look at the things against us at the moment, and the injury list and the suspension list is certainly going against us. Sheffield United away, Leeds United away. Realistically, when we're looking at that, are we expecting to pick up anything? Look, it would have been nice to have at least tested the goalkeeper, but I don't think anyone was expecting to go there and win football matches. That doesn't excuse the level of performances we've seen, but I think you have to be realistic. I think the fact that Ante Cianats and Josh Sargent didn't start at Ellen Road says to me that unconsciously Johannes Hoftorp is going, look, I don't think we're getting anything out of this. I'm going to rest my best players in Josh Sargent to try and come to Carrow Road on Saturday against Swansea City with a stronger side in a game that we have more confidence in winning. If you actually look at the next kind of 8 fixtures, Norwich City have a very favourable run from here. We've got some nice home fixtures. The away fixtures don't look too bad. If we can get Marcelino Nunez back in and Boris Science will come back from suspension and Josh Sargent will be starting, you could potentially build a run. I understand that this is kind of hopeful thinking, but I don't think that Norwich City's performance levels have been too far off it. Coventry at home doesn't feel that long ago. We were on cloud 9 at that point, and it's amazing what can happen in the space of kind of 2 weeks where suddenly people are questioning things. I think if I'm going back to my earlier point around the lack of trading in this January transfer window, it does surprise me slightly, and I think that Johannes, he's not been thrown under the bus here, but he's going to war, without some ammo that he desperately needs. He said in a press conference not so long back that he needs a central defensive midfielder. It looks unlikely that we're going to sign one of those. And look, I completely get it, and actually it's probably the sensible move not to be overpaying in the January transfer window, and Norwich's record in this window has been particularly poor over the last few seasons. And I think for any team trying to extract value, it's incredibly difficult. If you're a player wanting to make a move and you think that there's value to be had there, realistically, are you going to a club like Norwich who are mid-table in the Championship, or are you going to try and get a move to Sheffield United or a Leeds or a Burnley where there's genuine opportunity of promotion? So that's the kind of loan market. You're not left with much, and then look, clubs know to charge more in the permanent market. So I completely understand it, but it almost feels like you're back in a David Wagner situation where we were holding off sacking him because the ideal target, and that was Johannes Hoftorp, wasn't available. So you almost sacrifice a part of your season because deep down we probably know that this squad isn't good enough for top 6. Johannes probably knows that as well. The players probably know that as well. So you've got certain players who are probably eyeing up moves. You've got Johannes going, this isn't the team I really want. Fans are going, well, this is completely pointless. I've just travelled to, well, I haven't, but those harder fans than myself have travelled to Sheffield and Leeds not expecting much. And that is a really dangerous mindset to get in. I'm still of full belief that everyone is behind the way we're going. And I hope and I think that people can see that, look, we've maybe not had steps forward this week, but the football that we're trying to play and at moments where it's happened is a good thing. And we're trying to implement the right things. You just have to hope that now with Swansea coming up, and I mean, let's have a look at the kind of upcoming fixtures for Norwich. It's Swansea, Watford away. You've then got Derby and Preston at home, 2 very winnable games. Hull away, potential winnable game. Stoke at home. You've then got Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday at home coming up. So Norwich should be looking to win their kind of next 4 or 5 home games. The away games are a slightly tougher ask, but if you can put those types of games together, then you're not too far off the top 6. I am constantly caught between two minds of going, this league isn't very good. I think Norwich are good enough to get into the top 6. I see us at Carrow Road sometimes and go, oh my goodness, how are we as far down the table as we are? And then sometimes see us away from home and go, we're lucky to be where we are in the table. It's a difficult one. I think that when we've had Nunez and McLean and Sainz and Sargent and Cordoba and Doyle all on the pitch at the same time, we've looked like a competent Championship side. When we have to go to Welland Road, and look, no disrespect to Hernandez and Fisher in midfield and Dobbin, although I thought he was good tonight, but thrown in the deep end, and 18-year-old Oscar Schwarto, who I think has been brilliant in his first season. That isn't the type of side that we want to be going to war with. Now, look, I'm, from my opinion of going, I trust Johannes and I trust Ben Napper and I think we're going in the right direction. That puts a lot of trust into Ben Napper for the recruitment. I think that the Atenasio group will dig deep into their pockets and will enable Johannes to to implement his style with the players he wants. But realistically, that's going to be a tough ask this season, I think. And performances at Ellen Road and Bramall Lane and other away performances this season, I can understand with people getting frustrated. I can also understand the people reaching out to me going, Jack, why are you not criticising Johannes like you did with David Wagner? Well, my response to that would be, I didn't see a future with David Wagner for a multitude of reasons. I don't think his football was particularly suited to the modern game. I didn't think the relationship between him and Stuart was a proactive one for Norwich City. I didn't think that there were the methods and the patterns that were going to enable us to grow going forwards. I can see that with Johannes and Ben Napper. I didn't see that before, and that's why I'm more tolerant and more accepting of the lesser performances, because I think that ultimately, and it's difficult to say this when we're getting beat and getting beat convincingly away from home on a pretty regular basis, it's difficult to say I think we're moving in the right direction, because it is a case of like 2 steps back, 1 step forward quite a lot this season with Norwich City. But that's what I feel deep down. I think that this side are moving in the right direction. I think that this is the way that I want my club to be run. I want a forward-thinking head coach. I want a sporting director who's young and hungry and implementing ideas that I can get on board with. Look, you might see football very differently to me. You probably do. Lots of people like David Wagner and the football that he played, and actually for 60% of his reign, it was good. We got the top 6. We were very good at home. He did have an informed Johnny Rowe. He did have an informed Gabby Sarah. He did have Josh Sargent. Johannes has lost that. He's inherited a squad that I would say is being not necessarily mismanaged, but it's a real kind of mismatch of recruitment styles over the years that has eventually concocted the side that we've got now. And I think I've seen enough improvement since Johannes has come in to give him way more time, to give Ben Napper way more time. I think that this summer is going to be big. You've got players who are out of contract on big money that will be leaving. We've already seen a little bit of that with Ashley Barnes going and Christian Fastnacht. There will be a huge turnover in the summer. And look, maybe I'll be coming back next January on a cold January night, having just been beaten by someone away from home, going, we need to give this team more time because there's been a massive turnover and it's not fair to judge them this early on. Maybe that might happen. I think there will be a more improvement going forwards. I think that this Norwich side, when we're talking on TNC, let's say mid-March, when we've just played Oxford at home and Sheffield Wednesday at home in the space of a week, I think we will be sat here in a higher league position, playing better football in a more cohesive manner. We might not, and let's have that conversation if we haven't. But I think that it would be difficult to judge this team based on this week. I think it would be difficult to judge this team based on the injuries and the suspensions and the various kind of discourse that we've had to face this season. We've had a lot thrown at us. There's been some real high points this season, and I think we need to just knuckle down now and find a way to make this work, because I think we've got good people around the club. I think we're in a good position to kick on. This might go horribly wrong. There's a possibility that this goes horribly wrong. Every single team in the Championship is trying to get out of this division, and lots more teams than us have chucked a lot more money at it than we have, and it not work. This could go up in flames. Who knows? But I think that we're trying to do the right things. I think we've got the right people to implement those things, and I think with time, this will come good. Could be famous last words. Look, it's been a really difficult week for Norwich. 2 very, very tough away games that we've come out with nothing. Not even a shot on target. A thumping to Brighton in the FA Cup. I hope that late January and February look somewhat brighter for Norwich City. The fixtures certainly do. And I hope that Johannes can find something and rally his players to dig deep on the kind of second half of this season. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'd be very intrigued to hear. Lots more content coming on TNC throughout the week. Look, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.